Hello, mysterious person behind the screen, and welcome to my Raimi Spider-Man Trilogy collection. It is the 20th anniversary of my favourite movie trilogy ever made. Yeah, this is it. This is right here. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man Trilogy is my favourite movie trilogy ever made, and I wanted to do stuff to celebrate that. I collect a lot of Raimi Spider-Man stuff, particularly different editions on DVD and Blu-ray, so I thought it was high time I showed off all the Raimi tat that I have managed to collect over the years. I'm hoping this video is going to be interesting. It could very well turn into a fairly boring 20-year-old going, this is a DVD, this is a Blu-ray. I'm hoping it won't though. I'm really hoping it won't. I'm going to try and make this interesting and informative. I'm going to try and tell a story about each kind of edition that I have, each kind of item that I have in my collection. I'm going to tell a little story about it, hopefully make it a bit informative and interesting for you guys watching. So my kind of Raimi Trilogy shrine or shelf is split into sections anyway, so this side is all DVD, this side is all Blu-ray, and then all the other stuff is in the middle. So we're going to start off with the actual editions I have of the films on DVD, and then the various formats right up to 4K, and then we're going to look at some books and CDs and all of that stuff. The thing about this collection is I'm always buying new stuff and new editions, so this could be quite outdated soon, but this is as of May 2022. I'm actually recording this in April, you know, secrets behind the movie magic and all that. But this is my Raimi Spider-Man collection as of May 2022. So I think here, if we start off with the earliest kind of item in the collection in terms of the chronological release order, and you know, you'd have to go with the classic Spider-Man 2002 on VHS with this gorgeous red, chunky red clamshell case. That cover for me is just exactly what I think of when I think of Sam Raimi's first Spider-Man film. It's just this poster and the red clamshell case. It's so nostalgic. I actually didn't have this on VHS as a kid, but this just screams everything about this film to me. And you know, all these films mean so much to me. They were incredibly formative, which is why I buy pretty much any edition I can get my hands on. They were all incredibly formative, and they mean an awful lot to me, and that's really why I buy all these editions. And obviously I don't have a VHS player anymore, but it's a cool kind of relic of the past. And you've got the nice tape there, which is really cool, and includes 25-minute bonus feature. Got a whole 25 minutes. That's mad. Definitely have to give that a watch. But yeah, Spider-Man on VHS, which I guess leads us into the sequel. Gotta make sure this doesn't all fall over. There we go. Spider-Man 2 on VHS. All of these, you know, these two VHSs are UK releases. You've got the UK age rating logos. Bit more of a boring release. This just a black clamshell case, not like the red we had for the first one. But the tape does have a yellow sticker, which is kind of cool. Yeah, so Spider-Man 2 on VHS. This was sort of the era when DVD was really taking over, and Spider-Man 3 was never actually released on VHS, so it's just these two. This is the complete VHS collection for the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films. But there we go, that's those two on VHS. And from VHS, we move on to the next format, and if you said DVD, then you would be incorrect, because I do have Spider-Man 2002 on VCD, video CD. Yeah, if you don't know what a VCD is, it's essentially a movie on a CD. So the quality is absolutely shocking. These are still made today, by the way. In countries like China, you can still buy current new released films on VCD. There's a great video on YouTube that compares VCD with 4K Blu-ray, and it's quite an amusing video, and just kind of shows you what VCD is. This kind of, I bought this on eBay just because it was a unique thing, and it's, you know, VCD is a really interesting and unique format. I didn't expect it to look as nice as this. This is a gorgeous set. Really lovely embossing on the cover there, on the logo, and Spidey himself. And it opens up, we've got Spidey and the Goblin. Again, these images are so friggin' nostalgic. And look at the disc art. The disc art is actually really nice, and yeah, disc 1, disc 2, so they have to split the film over 2 discs. And if you take the disc out, you've got really nice kind of cityscape behind there. Surprisingly, a real nice set, and it's a really nice little display piece. And the spine is a little bit sun bleached, but nevertheless, yeah, Spider-Man VCD, little oddity. And now we're into the DVDs. This is absolutely the format that I own the films the most on. I own quite a few of these, so without further ado, let's get started. With the trilogy itself, I have this Spider-Man Deluxe Trilogy box set, which is in really tatty condition. Picked this up from CEX a few years ago now. So this was released in 2007. It includes Spider-Man's. It includes Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2.1, and Spider-Man 3. No theatrical version of Spider-Man 2 included here. But I thought the really cool thing about this is, aside from the tatty J card that I'm just going to take off a second, it's really bent. This is not in good condition at all. So you got this shell, which is really nice and shiny, and ditto on the back. Bit of a fingerprint magnet. So it slips off like so. And you've got this really nice digipack. Again, unfortunately, there's a massive tear in the side there, but we'll put that aside for a minute. Yeah, this is a really nice digipack featuring kind of the villains of the trilogy there. All three of the films. Again, no theatrical cut of Spider-Man 2 included, just the extended cut 2.1. And again, with some really nice poster artwork behind that. And then the really cool thing about this, for me at least, is this, which is Spider-Man 3 The Black, which is an interesting little guide to Spider-Man in the comics. But best of all, this is a brand new comic story written by Brian Michael Bendis and Mark Bagley, who wrote the brilliant Ultimate Spider-Man comics, set between Eddie getting the symbiote in the film, and then, you know, the film cuts away to some other scenes, and then we see him as Venom. This comic fills in that gap, and you see him kind of getting Peter's memories, which is how he kind of is aware of Peter later in the film. It's obviously implied that he just sees him from the clock tower, but this kind of fills in all of those gaps. Really cool little story, and if you can, I don't know if you can get it separately, but definitely pick up this edition or track down this edition of this trilogy set for that alone, because it's a really cool little bonus pack-in thing. So now we move into the individual DVD releases of the trilogy. So we're going to start off with 2002 again. So here we go. I have two copies of the widescreen American Region 1 edition of the film, stacked with special features. As I say, these are identical. I can't quite remember how I've ended up with two, but either way they're identical. Lovely booklet, 2-disc set. I was like looking at these because they're obviously very different from the UK release that you'll see in a minute. But yeah, two copies of the Region 1 Spider-Man release. I believe all of the special features are ported over to the UK ones, but I could be wrong about that, so, you know, if you know any different, let me know, but I believe it's all been ported over. Sticking with the Region 1 theme, I also have the Deluxe edition of Spider-Man Region 1 version. I do have the Region 2 version of this as well later on, which we'll look at, but so this was brought out to time to the release of Spider-Man 2, so it's a repackage of the exact same thing that we just looked at, with a brand new bonus disc full of even more special features, mostly advertising Spider-Man 2. But yes, oh god, some little nostalgic memorabilia here. Thank you for purchasing the Spider-Man Deluxe Edition DVD. As a gift, we'd like to treat you to a free ticket to the movies. So I get a free ticket to see Spider-Man 2. I think I'm a little bit too late for that, nearly 20 years too late. But either way, whoever I kind of got this off on eBay clearly never redeemed this, because this is brand new. So yeah, if I just take a time machine back to 2004, I can go and see Spider-Man 2 for free. So that's cool. And kind of the pinnacle of the Region 1 releases for Spider-Man 2002 is the limited edition DVD collector's set, which is this lovely big box. Love that image on the front. That just is so... it's the definition of the word iconic. And just taking the lid off, if I can do this with one hand, we have yet another Region 1 widescreen edition of the film. So that makes 4 times you've seen these now. And all sorts of pack-ins, including a film cell, which I have framed, and it's up there, so I'll show you that later. And Stan Lee's Mutants, Monsters and Marvels, which is like a sit-down interview with Kevin Smith, and it's cool and nostalgic, and it's a really interesting dive into Stan Lee's life. and it's interesting to see Kevin Smith being so kind of subdued given how he is normally. It's just an interesting little watch, but it's highly recommended. And you've got a reprint of Amazing Fantasy 15 in there as well, so it's a really nice little set. All sorts of cool stuff in there. But yeah, so definitely eye-catching on display, the Spider-Man Limited Edition DVD collector's set. I feel like you're going to see quite a lot of slightly dodgy, awkward jump cuts throughout this video, but it's all part of the fun, all part of the homegrown fun that we have on this channel. Alright, so from the multitude of Region 1 editions of Spider-Man 2002 that I have, to Region 2, my homegrown UK Region 2 releases. Looking at this now, I've realised just how many times I own Spider-Man 1 more than any other film in the trilogy. I've got so many copies of Spider-Man 1. But okay, Region 2 releases. So we start off with the single disc release of Spider-Man 1. Go for the ultimate spin with kind of this cover instead of the other one that we've seen a few times now, instead of that one that's on the disc. Yeah, I believe this is a reissue from 2009, yes, this is a reissue. But either way, it's the single disc edition of Spider-Man 1. Nothing really special to write home about. This is incredibly nostalgic for me. This is the 2-disc special edition, which has got a load of gunk on the cover for some reason. I don't know where that's come from. But this is the DVD I had as a kid. It's not the exact one, but this is the 2-disc special edition DVD of Spider-Man. This is kind of what I remember flicking through as a kid and just being amazed at the packaging. Just again, this image just sums up Spider-Man for me, and just the back artwork and everything. Just the widescreen edition, in case you couldn't tell. Like I said, very different from the American release. Just this red cover, man. This red case is just so striking and nostalgic. I remember being terrified by that image on the second disc, to the point where I actually think I broke the second disc on mine that I had as a kid. I actually think I went up and snapped it because I was so terrified of the Green Goblin, which is kind of funny. But yeah, same again. We've got so many nostalgic booklets here. Again, this is the real early days of DVD. It's got the old logos on it, so it was very much like, look how good DVD is. Wow, look at the amazing titles you can find on DVD. But these booklets are really from a bygone era where you used to get these lovely write-ups on the films that you were buying on DVD, and chapter stops and everything, and just you don't see that anymore. Even on like premium releases, you just don't see them. But it's, you know, advertising the products, which is like, again, it's just so nostalgic. Some of these you will actually see later on in the video. Yeah, just it's going back to a bygone, and this as well. Step into the world of Spider-Man with the official mobile power pack, only $19.99, including VAT. Includes a pay-as-you-go SIM card with 2 Spider-Man logos, a Spider-Man SMS game. God, this is so 2002. It's mad. CD cards with a Z because they're cool. But yeah, so nostalgic, and that release just. This in particular, this is just, I have such an immense fondness for this because it really did shape a lot of my life, I guess. It made me want to go into the creative industry, and without this, I might not have what I have now. So I'm grateful for this, because this is such a nostalgic blast from the past. And then I showed you the Region 1 Deluxe Edition earlier. While we handled that slightly differently over in Britain when that came to be released over here, we just had an extra slipcase instead of a giant box that we saw earlier that the Americans had. We just had an extra slipcase for the Deluxe Edition. Very similar back artwork, but in blue this time. And how did we put the extra disc in? Well, we just repackaged the old one that I've just shown and put a little wallet in there instead. Exactly the same contents as the Region 1 version. It just doesn't have a completely separate case. But it's still got that same really nice artwork on the disc that we saw there. In all honesty, this Deluxe Edition, it's not essential, because it is just mostly like, hey, look, Spider-Man 2's coming out. and the new content that is on there has been ported over to this bad boy here, so we'll talk about that later. But yeah, so the Region 2 Deluxe Edition of Spider-Man 1. And God, we've been recording for so long already, I've not even got to the sequels on DVD yet. Oh, this is going to be another long video. Yeah, Spider-Man 2 time. Again, starting with Region 1 releases first. This is the Spider-Man 2 Super Bit Edition, Region 1 DVD. If you don't know what Super Bit DVDs are, basically Super Bit DVDs were regular DVDs that didn't include any special features or anything like that, and maximised the disc space for a really high bit rate to provide the best possible quality for a film that you can get on DVD. Now, of course, it's not up to the level of Blu-ray or 4K, definitely not, but it's absolutely the best DVDs will ever look. So if you care about picture quality and you're still on DVDs and you haven't kind of jumped into high definition with these Blu-rays and 4Ks yet, then this is probably the best image you're going to get from the format. As I say, it's really all about image quality. There's no other extra features on this. But it's a cool design. I like the design of this with the border and everything. Yeah, there's an advertisement for other Superbit DVDs. So yeah, pretty cool. I'd like to get the other Superbit versions of the trilogy, actually, because this is the only one I have, and indeed it's the only Region 1 version of Spider-Man 2 that I do have. So yeah, Spider-Man 2 Superbit. And again, probably very familiar to most of you, the 2-disc special edition of Spider-Man 2 UK Region 2 DVD. A standard in all charity shops across Britain. But yeah, this is really from the era where they put so much effort into DVDs and special features, and like I said it before, you just don't get it anymore. This lovely booklet. Again, a lot of it is advertising the products you can get, but it's just like the effort that goes into this, and again, heavily nostalgic. Spider-Man 2 is my favourite film of all time. I've said that many times, and I think the reason I buy a lot of these editions is just because it makes me happy, just this nostalgic value of having this in my hand. It really is from a bygone era. Things have changed so much, and we'll absolutely see how things have changed when we get into like the Blu-ray releases, for example. But yeah, Spider-Man 2 2-disc edition. And then similar to the kind of big box set I have for the first one, I do have Spider-Man 2 limited edition DVD gift set. Really lovely shiny cover. I got this for £2 in a charity shop. It was an absolute bargain. And once again, if I can get the lid off, comes with another copy of the 2-disc special edition DVD, which I've just shown you. Exactly the same copy. Or exactly the same contents, rather. And I really like the packings in this. You've got a reprint of Amazing Spider-Man 50, which is, of course, a whole section of Spider-Man 2 is based on. A comic book artist's portfolio, which I will have a spool through, which has got some really cool artwork in it. Probably stuff you can find online, but it's all very cool. We've got a lot of comic book artists in there giving their own spin on the Raimi universe, which is really cool. Oh, I'm going to try to go through these quickly because it's going to be such a long bloody video. Concept art book, really cool. And then postcards, which has got postcards of the main. So you got the theatrical poster, and then the Sacrifice and Destiny ones as well. Really cool. And yeah, it's a really cool little special edition. Massive bargain finding that in the charity shop. Definitely get a hold of this if you can, because it's a really nice collector's piece. Yeah, Spider-Man 2 gift set thing. I also have an oddity here. This is a freebie with DVD Review Magazine, an exclusive preview DVD of Spider-Man 2 special features. So yeah, DVD Review Magazine issue 71. That gave this away for free. I don't have that magazine, and indeed the case is snapping apart and falling apart. But I bought this on eBay just because it's a cool little oddity. A free gift with a magazine, which is over 40 minutes of Spider-Man 2's extras. Again, pretty cool. Spider-Man 2 will be out to buy 26th of November 2004. Very nostalgic, very cool. And I love that disc art. I love the kind of shiny effect on that disc art. Really cool stuff. It is just a preview disc. There's nothing on here that isn't on the main releases for the film. But it's cool. It's a cool little nostalgic thing to have. And so, yeah. And from Spider-Man 2 to Spider-Man 2.1, the extended cut, we have the 2-disc special edition DVD of the extended cut. Again, Region 2, UK. God, this is so nostalgic. This is the copy of the film that I grew up on. Again, not the exact one, but I just remember this cover in this case. This is the exact version of the film that I grew up on. I believe there are versions of this with a slipcase, but mine doesn't have a slipcase, but that's okay. Very cool 2-disc set of the extended version of Spider-Man 2. And then a French version of the same thing. So again, this is why I like buying different editions from different countries. You get to compare the artwork and everything. So again, this is a 2-disc release. I love that back artwork compared to the one I'm familiar with from the UK. I really love the French one. But yeah, exactly the same contents. It's just a French release. So, yeah, Spider-Man 2.1. Edition double version long. I'm not going to attempt a French accent because it'll just be horrific and offensive. Interestingly, the spine is actually upside down on the French one, as you would put the DVD normally. Which I guess you could remedy by putting the DVD upside down, but it just would look slightly weird on the shelf, and it's just, yeah, I don't know. But yeah. And Spider-Man 3, 2-disc special edition UK DVD. This is the exact copy I watched as a kid. This is it. This is right here on my hands. This is the exact copy of this DVD that I watched to death as a kid. I'm pretty sure if I look at the disc, yeah, that's pretty scratched up. You can't really see it on camera, but that is got a lot of use as a kid. This is 15 years ago now. This year is 15th anniversary of Spider-Man 3, and it's so filthy. I watched this to death as a kid, and the memories just come flooding back. Awesome, Spidey's greatest adventure yet. Not just the best Spider-Man, but also the best superhero movie. I think people would massively disagree with Jonathan Ross there, but either way, yeah. Just I used to have a slipcase for it. I remember the slipcase clearly, but that's kind of been lost to time, unfortunately. But yeah, this is a real kind of nostalgic item from my own kind of personal past with the Raimi Trilogy. So yeah, Spider-Man 3 2-disc special edition. And similar again, the UK release of Spider-Man 3, but the 1-disc edition with a different cover. Got it for the different cover. I mean, this is the thing, right? Like, I don't... all these editions that are just the exact same contents, but like a slightly different cover. Do I need to buy them? No. Am I going to get anything out of them that isn't on the multitude of other releases I have? No. Do I need them? No. Do they look interesting and cool and give a bit of variety to the shelf and just show my love for the films? Hell yeah. I will grab any edition I can get my hands on, and yeah, it's what can I say? I'm a sad man who likes collecting multiple editions of the same film. But yeah, Spider-Man 3 1-disc edition. I really like that cover, actually. I actually might prefer that cover to the 2-disc special edition, but yeah, really cool. And we have one here that's still sealed. This is a recent addition to the collection. I believe this is a Swedish or Scandinavian, yeah, I think it's Scandinavian, release of Spider-Man 3, the 2-disc special edition, with the slipcover, and still sealed. I'm going to keep this sealed because, I mean, there's no reason for me to open it, because, we can look at the amount of shit I have here. There's no reason for me to open it, so I'm going to keep it sealed. But it's cool. It's a nice... again, I just like seeing how different countries handle the artwork and the text and everything. That kind of stuff just really interests me and fascinates me. And it's a nice little bit of... nice little relic, nice little bit of history from 2007. But yeah. Oh, and from DVD, we don't go over to Blu-ray. We go to... Who remembers... UMDs, because I have the trilogy on UMD. God, so UMDs were what the PSP used to play games and movies. UMD video for PSP. I don't have a PSP anymore. My PSP went years ago. But yeah, again, they're really, oh crap. They're really cool and nostalgic, and look how dinky the discs are. It's so cute. Look at how it's just so small. And yeah, I mean, I don't even remember what the quality of UMD was like. It says on the back DVD picture quality. I couldn't tell you, but yeah, it's cool kind of oddity of a format to own these films on. I actually own 2 of Spider-Man 2 somehow. Yeah, different covers. It's pretty much the same back artwork though. Very strange. So I got this in a charity shop, and I'm guessing it's like the international version because it's got like, so I believe that's the Australian rating as well as the UK one, and one from Denmark as well. It looks like, so maybe this was the international one, and then this one was just the standard UK. And then Spider-Man 3, pretty much the same as we've just seen with the 2-disc edition. Very cool. Yeah, again. But yeah, really. Again, a relic of the past there with UMDs, but pretty cool. And pushing back a bit, we're now in the era of high definition. We're in the era of Blu-ray. So let's tackle the Blu-ray pile, shall we? So we're starting off with the international version of the High Definition Trilogy Blu-ray box set from 2007, which contains the individual first Blu-ray releases of the trilogy. So one there with that great nostalgic cover. Number 2, and then number 3, which I believe number 3 is the 2-disc edition from. Oh no, it isn't. No, number 3 is the 1-disc edition. Right, I guess that's what differentiates this from the more common UK version then. Whoa, crap. Stay there. Okay. Because I think the more commonly available UK version of this set has the 2-disc special edition of Spider-Man 3. This just has the 1. But so that's interesting. But yeah, I used to have the UK version, like with the thicker cases and everything. But sadly, I don't anymore. So I've got this kind of tatty international version. But yeah, pretty cool stuff to have. A correction with this actually though, I did make a big fuck up in my Spider-Man 2 extended cut video. I did say that the uncensored version of 2.1 was only available in this box set. It isn't. I don't know how I fucked up on that, but I did, so I apologise. Apologies for that. But yeah. And then we have some standalone versions of the same kind of editions that were packaged in that box set. So we've got the first Blu-ray release of Spider-Man 1, standalone UK, very much the same as you just saw, but again, kind of nostalgic for that early era of Blu-ray where it was like, experience high definition. Even though if you actually look at these transfers now, that they aren't quite as impressive as they may have been at the time. And they've certainly been improved with further remasters in the future, but they're pretty cool. I'm not sure why this one has a red case. It was just an edition I got on eBay and it came with a red case. But it's kind of cool. Red Blu-ray cases are always very interesting and weird and unique and cool. But yeah, same again. Spider-Man 2 on Blu-ray, the first release. And then another sealed copy of Spider-Man 3. I don't even know. Denmark, I think. Yeah, I think this is from Denmark. Maybe, I could be wrong. Of the 2-disc special edition original version of it. Again, there's no reason for me to open this. It's still got like the tags on it. But I picked it up on eBay. Really cool little addition to add. I always love it when something's sealed, especially when it's from another country like this. And yeah, I mean, I guess people, if you can see that, can you tell me what language it is? I think it's Denmark, Danish maybe, but yeah, very cool stuff. And so after 2007, when they put out those initial releases of the film on Blu-ray, we got further Blu-ray releases in 2012, which contained slightly more special features, slightly less special features, new artwork, basically just released to time with the Amazing Spider-Man films. And I have these slipcovers, which are quite rare these days, I understand. So I don't like these covers very much, but they're nice slipcovers, if that makes sense. Like they're shiny and cool, and they stand out in this display. So we have Spider-Man 1. Again, these covers are very garish and not great, but the slip covers are cool. Like, you've got embossing there, which is really nice. And then underneath we have these. Again, not my favourite, but pretty cool stuff nonetheless. And yeah, like I said, I believe these slip covers are rare now. I could be wrong, but whenever I see these going on eBay, they're going for quite high price. So I think these are sort of rare. So we have Spider-Man 2. Again, not the best cover, is it? It's very uninspired, but decent enough. I won't bother showing you the regular cover of that because it's just the same. And then Spider-Man 3. I think it's because it's like, so Spider-Man 3, and they're all numbered, so they're meant to like line up, but they just don't really work. But yeah, Spider-Man 3 slipcover. And then the same time they put out those standalone releases, I actually think they might have done this first, but they did put out a new trilogy box set, which I remember my dad buying on release, when we were kind of upgrading all of our stuff to Blu-ray. So yeah, really tatty condition. These days it hasn't really held up well over the years, but it's the same releases as you saw with those slipcovers, just obviously without the slipcovers. So the same kind of not great looking covers that have just been put in a box, really, but decent enough. This was really what I watched these films on Blu-ray on for a long time. This was kind of my main source since 2012, really. So yeah, and it's a decent cover, like there's some decent embossing in there. It always annoys me, and modern releases do this all the time. That is the symbiote Spider-Man logo in his eyes, because it's got the longer legs. And just saying that now, I realise this is why I am single. But whatever, it's fun. And a third release of that is this, which I know is quite rare, and I managed to win in an eBay auction. Still sealed, the Steelbook edition of that same Spider-Man Trilogy release. I believe this might have been a Zavvi exclusive Steelbook. It just says Spider-Man on the spine. It's very cool and simplistic. This does have a bit of a dent in it. Pretty massive one, actually. And yeah, it's all kind of caved in there. But you can't really tell from afar. And it looks really cool on display. And it's a rare edition. So the fact that it's still sealed, 10 years later now, is very... Ooh, is very, very cool. So really happy to have that. It's cool on the shelf. And going into more Steelbooks now, we have the 2016, I want to say, re-releases of the trilogy yet again in Steelbook form. I've put them in protective cases, protective bags. These have lenticular magnets on the front that you can remove, which are very, very nice. I don't like the fact that they've tried to like gritty these films up, because part of the charm of these films is they're unapologetically camp and goofy, and that's part of why I love them so much. But they've added like lightning and rain to make it look badass. But it's a cool lenticular effect. And then on the back there as well. And like I said, you can remove those magnets off. But I think I'll just put them in the cases for now. You can find videos about these on YouTube. But yeah, the Spider-Man 2. Very cool effect here again. And probably the best, well, the one that suits this kind of style the most is Spider-Man 3. Really, really nice effect. But yeah, cool Steelbook editions. Nice to have in the collection. And then we've kind of caught up. The current definitive, as of this recording, the current and definitive way to watch the Raimi Trilogy at home, the Spider-Man Legacy box set, which includes the Raimi Trilogy and Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 on 4K and Blu-ray. So we're into the era of 4K now. So I'm not going to show you the Amazing Spider-Man 1 because this kind of video is focused on the Raimi Trilogy side of things. But this is the infamous 2017 release that debuted the editor's cut of Spider-Man 3, which you can watch in my video for more information on that. But this debuted all of that, and the big attempt with this was to tie everything together, to tie into the release of Spider-Man Homecoming, get every special feature on every release of these films ever, and put them in one box set. And they mostly succeeded. Most of all this stuff is on this set, which is what you want. So if you're looking to buy these films, track down this edition. It is the definitive edition of these films so far. It's got like 95% of the extras, I think, as an estimate. Like 95% of the extras that have ever been produced for these films. There are a few omissions here and there, but for the most part, it's all here. It's a really nice cover. So it looks like that normally. You catch it in the light, and you see the faces of the villains. It's a lovely, lovely digibook. I adore the artwork on this. It's really, really good stuff. It's got nice write-ups on each of the films. Really long, detailed essays on them, which is just lovely, and it harkens back to what I was saying earlier with those DVDs. And you have the Blu-ray, the 4K. We're in the era of 4K. The Blu-ray of Spider-Man 2, 4K of 2, Blu-ray of 3, 4K of 3, really nice artwork again. And then the bonus disc, which has odds and ends from pretty much every bonus feature of the trilogy is all on here, and the Spider-Man 3 editor's cut is there as well. That's where you can find the editor's cut, and just look at that. Beautiful shot to close the digibook off. One of my favourite. This is absolutely, I've watched these discs so many times now. The films have never looked better than this. They've been beautifully remastered and restored and spruced up for their 4K debut. They all look gorgeous. They probably will never look better than this. The recent 4K releases that they brought out, it was either last year or early this year, are just straight ports of the discs that are in here without the special features, sadly. So this is the only way to get those extensive special features. Plus, it's a gorgeous set. I believe it is out of print now, but if you can find this, definitely track it down, because as of right now, as of May 2022, it is the definitive home video release, home video presentation of the Raimi Trilogy. So this is it. This is everything you could ever need right here, pretty much. And like I said before, why do I buy all these editions? Because I love these films to bits, and for years, kind of Sony tried to pretend they didn't exist. The fact that they're being more celebrated now is a huge positive. But I find it so nostalgic buying all of this stuff and just having a look at the different editions from across the globe. And some film fans collect all the different editions of Star Wars that they can get their hands on. Some do the same with Alien or Halloween or any horror franchise like that. Well, for me, I do it for Spider-Man. The Raimi Trilogy in particular, and I'm always buying new stuff, But we've taken a look at the home video releases I have. Let's take a look at the books and games and CDs and other odds and ends. So I'm not sure as to the legitimacy of this, but I do have, this was bought from a Comic-Con, this film sale of the original Twin Towers Spider-Man teaser trailer. I'd love to get this framed because it doesn't really have a proper storage space right now, but it is an original film sale of the infamous trailer that featured Spidey webbing up some goons to the World Trade Center. For those of you who don't know, I'm sure most of you do know, but for those of you who don't know, the trailer was hastily pulled after 9/11 for very understandable reasons. I believe a fan restored it all in 4K a few years ago on YouTube, so definitely check that out because it looks gorgeous. But yeah, I have this film sale from it. Unsure as to the legitimacy of it, but it's a nice little display piece nonetheless. And a kind of vaguely nostalgic thing here. I believe this was a magazine freebie, so this is a giant fucking poster. Oh crap! This is a giant poster for Spider-Man 2. And on the other side, it's a giant poster for the Lord of the Rings Return of the King. So it was, I believe it was given away for a film magazine. Saw it a few years ago going cheap, decided to pick it up because it's like a relic of the time and pretty nostalgic, and it's got that kind of Return of the King thing on the back as well. So yeah, pretty cool. Then we have the making of books for the whole trilogy, which I wholeheartedly recommend. So we start off with a really dusty copy of Behind the Mask of Spider-Man by Mark Cotovaz. I really can't recommend these making of books enough. They go into such detail about the making of these three films, just stunning images in them. So we have that one for Spider-Man 1, and then we have Caught in the Web, Dreaming Up the World of Spider-Man 2 by the same author. Same deal. Gorgeous images and write-ups and texts about the making of Spidey 2. My favourite film. These books really do go into every detail. I really thought, like, after I'd watched all the special features, that I'd known everything that there was to know about about the trilogy. These books just reveal so much more that those documentaries don't even cover, and especially this one. This is absolutely the shining light of this range. Written by Grant Curtis, who's one of the producers on the film, The Spider-Man Chronicles: The Art and Making of Spider-Man 3. This is an absolute treasure trove if you're into the kind of aspect of what was deleted from Spider-Man 3, what eventually ended up on the cutting room floor, stuff like that. There's so many essays in here, so many write-ups, and crucially, so many images of scenes that have never been released to the public. It's all in here. Pick up this book. You will not regret it. It's got images of Adrian Lester's character, who of course is nowhere to be found in the final film, but was a fairly prominent character, and he just got completely cut. So much concept art of when they were trying to really struggling to find the look of Venom, and insight into the troubled production of that film. This book is an absolute must-have for fans of the trilogy. It really is absolutely fantastic. Oh, from making of books to an annual. I was going to say magazines, but yeah, I do have this nostalgic annual for Spider-Man 2. I did have the Spider-Man 3 annual, but I might have sold that. I had it as a kid, I think. But yeah, obviously meant for kids, but very kind of... I keep saying nostalgic, but this is really... I used to love annuals as a kid, and this whole thing is, yeah, cool images, Doc Ock maze game thing. Yeah, really cool stuff. Spider-Man 2 annual. Then we have the tie-in magazines. These are all from 2004, so we start off with this absolutely stunning and still sealed. Oh, hello, Doctor Who, Death Comes to Time. Have a look at that. SFX special for Spider-Man 2. Clean, completely clean cover of just Spidey doing his thing. Gorgeous, gorgeous cover. Definitely keeping this sealed. Oh, just absolutely stunning. Total film. Again, from 2004, deeper, darker, deadlier, Spider-Man 2, unmasking the year's biggest movie, really shiny cover. Again, it's so funny reading these, like, previews of upcoming films and reviews of DVDs and things like that. Like, hey, here you go, film of the month is Shrek 2. I love it, it's, oh, that's cool, picture of Toby with an actual spider, really, really cool. Sam Raimi's vision is awesome. He's going to bust this stuff right open. Yeah, just incredibly cool stuff. I always like reading like old magazines and things. Really cool. And another really cool cover. Amazing! Spider-Man is back. Empire magazine, again, 2004. Lenticular cover. So many adverts for like DVDs and things. Oh, there you go. There's an advert for... Oh, subscribe and see Spider-Man in Glorious Superbit. It's an advert for the Superbit DVD, the first one. Thunderbirds. The Olsen sisters. There's a lot of Shrek 2 in these, of course. And yeah, just a giant preview on Spidey 2, which is really cool. That actually goes into the debate about whether or not Toby would even come back for the sequel because of the money thing and his back injury and stuff. Kind of goes into that, which is interesting. But yeah, very cool. It's interesting because I have Total Film magazines. I used to buy them a lot around the time of like the Avengers coming out, and I just films that are so important to me and important to, I guess, to the pop culture landscape is so interesting to me. Just seeing that snapshot of the time, and it's certainly true here. So yeah, I do love these magazines. Nearly there, guys. CDs. So I've got a few CDs. So this is the obligatory tie-in rock album. So music from and inspired by Spider-Man. Very early 2000s artists on there. Interesting artwork though. It's got, of course, the Nickelback song Sum 41. Rock, it's what we're all about. It's what we live for. Bit of Danny Elfman music on there. Very cool stuff for Spider-Man 1. Music from and inspired by Spider-Man 2. Again, very, very cool. Love that cover. Very cool artwork again. All these were great artwork. One of the, again, it's very sort of a snapshot of the time and the rock music that was popular at the time, I guess. And then music from and inspired by Spider-Man 3, which actually I unironically think this is a fucking great album, and I've listened to it so many times. Killer's my favourite band, so they're on there. Snow Patrol, Yeah Yeah Yeahs, Wolf Mother. Yeah, it's great stuff, and interesting artwork yet again. Very cool stuff. I also have CD-wise, where is it? Yes. Anna Johnson, We Are. So this is like a single of We Are that they released with a quarter, sorry, of the Spider-Man 2 poster. You're meant to buy the other kind of singles that they released to get the whole poster. I only have this, but yeah, it's kind of it was We Are by Anna Johnson, Vindicated, Dashboard Confessional, Ordinary by Train, and then the Michael Bublé song, I think, were the four big ones that came out at the time. So yeah, very, very cool. Again, very much a snapshot of the time, but pretty cool nonetheless. And then some games. Spider-Man 2002 for the Nintendo GameCube. Not a bad game, pretty decent stuff. Definitely like beaten so much by its sequel, Spider-Man 2, which is obviously one of the greatest superhero games ever made. I do think it's a bit overrated now. I know it's flame shields up, but I think other games have improved upon what this one did, but it's still a very important, monumental game for the superhero genre. So yeah, don't have the third one. I used to have it on PS2. Need to reacquire it, methinks, because it's quite a big missing piece. But I also have this Spider-Man 3 mug, because I am a mug. Yeah, so this was from, I believe it was like an Easter egg in 2007. They gave him a mug with it. Again, from my childhood. Very nostalgic, very cool. This superposable Spider-Man figure, which I had him crouching down. He's very posable. He's from 2002, you can tell because it's got the smaller spider symbol. Yes, he's very cool. You can get him into some really interesting and dynamic positions. He's a great figure, I really like him. And then I also have this little guy, again, from my childhood. He's got like a thing in the back where you turn it and his hands move. I believe there used to be some string to go in there and things like that, but I don't have that anymore. I just have this. I used to have like a mini little Spider-Man from, there was a playset that they released where it's like the big final battle at the end of Spider-Man 3. They released that as a playset, and it had all these kind of figures in, like mini figures of Sandman and Venom and Spidey, and for a while that little Spidey sat on this shelf, but I guess when I moved all this from where it used to be, I guess he kind of just got lost to time, which is really sad. He's definitely around here somewhere. He'll turn up one day, but sadly he couldn't be in this video for that reason. I also just remembered I have this Doc Ock figure from 2004. He's pretty badly beaten up. I mean, look at his face, but it's a great figure nonetheless. Would have loved this if I had it as a kid, but sadly, I acquired this later. But either way, pretty cool figure, pretty nice little addition to the collection. He doesn't stand up. Okay, we'll just leave him like that. He doesn't stand up very well. So there we have it. Everything in my Raimi Spider-Man collection. I also have that aforementioned poster and that film cell that I have framed, which is from that beast. But this is everything. This is the whole display, the Raimi display in all of its glory. And you know, of course, the thing is with this is there are inevitably going to be some people watching this video going, why the hell have you bought this many editions of the same 3 films? Why the hell do you have like freaking 20 different editions on DVD or whatever and all that? There's a very simple reason for that. I'm an idiot. No. These films are very important to me. It's my favourite movie trilogy. I have analysed and pored over these films over the years so many times, and I just, like I said, everyone has those movie series that they collect certain things of, and this is mine, and it always will be. And the love that I have for these films knows no bounds. I will always take an opportunity to talk about them. And just you know, we live in an age where obviously new merchandise for them is not coming out very often because these films were you know, 20th anniversary of the first one this year, and we're in a new era of Spider-Man now. And although No Way Home came out and we saw the spoilers return of Tobey Maguire and the return of these Raimi-verse characters and the Webverse, we're kind of getting to that legacy era now. It's difficult. It used to be a lot more difficult to get Raimi era merch, and often these different editions were kind of all that you'd get. But hey, I just like it as a display. I like the feeling of having all these editions and just looking at them and just seeing how times have changed and from different countries and everything. Yeah, I know it's overkill, but I love it nonetheless. And I really hope you find this video interesting. Do you own... so what kind of Raimi merch do you own? Oh, I have this t-shirt as well, directed by Sam Raimi t-shirt, which is cool. But yeah, I hope this has been interesting. I really tried to not make it just me going, oh, here's a DVD, here's a DVD. Hopefully it's been at least semi-interesting to you. But if it has, comment and let me know, and like and subscribe, and tell me, like I said, what kind of Raimi merch do you have. It's all a celebration of these films that we all love so much, so yeah, I'd like to hear from you. So that's it from me. If you want more Raimi Spider-Man content, then I have done full audio commentaries on all 3 of the films last year. Me and Isaac did that. Go and check out my video on Spider-Man 2.1, the extended cut, breaking down every difference and change made to that version of the film, and my newly released Spider-Man 3 editor's cut video, which breaks down every difference between those 2 versions of Spider-Man 3 as well. So hopefully you'll find something interesting on my channel. So that's all from me. Take care, guys.